So, that was another experience I had. I also did, oh my God, back in the day, so true though, when sci-fi was cool, the sci-fi channel, which I now call Sippy, because I look at it and I think Sippy, it's Sippy, sci-fi, and then sci-fi.com had been launched, and this was late 90s, early 2000s. I'd have to Google that to be sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what was going on, because I was cast in a role, and it was, okay, you guys are so young, but have you ever seen those dancing grapes? I have to stand. Thank you. Well, I was not entirely wrong, because grapes are raisins, right? I mean, for a while. And then they turn into raisins? Okay. Yeah, and it's like, heard it through the grapevine, and I think it's for a juice. I think it's for, what's it?
For California raisins?
Or it's for California raisins. Maybe it's literally for the things that they are. Maybe that's it, Jessica. Sure. Haven't seen the commercial in a while, but I couldn't remember. I didn't know if it was for, like, Concord grape juice or whatever, that. So that gentleman who was responsible for making those things move, his name is Voltaire, and he's a very interesting artist. I'm obviously not talking about the philosopher Voltaire, because that was really back in the day. But this guy he's very goth, and he has his own music, and he's really, really talented. And so he had this show that he created called Chichan. And you can still find it, and it's really cool to look at now, because it's still very stop-motion animation, and it takes a while to load sometimes, even if you've got like crazy fast connection. And I don't even know if it's on sci-fi.com, or if you can just Google it and find it in some kind of archive. But the lead in that was played by Bailing. Do you guys know who Bailing is? Gorgeous, never-aging beauty who's been in everything. And so working with her was cool, because I was like, because the way they had those sessions structured is it was a big deal. They all had us called in on the same day, which you never do. You're always, Anji, we need you for 4 hours. Can you be here next week? Here are the dates of, 12 to 4 on Thursday. Sure, great. And you go in, and you're lucky if you see the person that their session ended at 1, or maybe you're leaving and the session is coming, that person's coming in at 4. So, but you usually, you're in there by yourself. You usually don't interact or see anyone else. But this one, they called us all in, and it was really intimidating because it was like this proscenium thing. Like they were, it was kind of like this, but much smaller. And they were sitting there, and then there was the glass, and this recording booth was huge. And it was like this big recording booth with all these microphones. We're all in the same room, and it's kind of Japanese-ish because they all record together. You guys know that. They all sit, and when their line's getting close, they stand up with the script, they say their line, and then they go and they sit back down. And it's just not the way we do it here. So we had a good time, because I want to get a picture of you guys before. Oh, bless your hearts. We have so much more time. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Woo! We got plenty more time. But anyway, she was so lovely, and so she had all the cameras on her, and makeup, and and because Chichan is the lead. She's a Chinese fighter, but very interesting character design that she had. And so when she was recording, we were all like, and I played Dr. I played Dr. Yoshimoto, who was the floating metallic teddy bear, and he created Chichan's exoskeleton so that she could fight the good fight and defeat like this big effing nasty cockroach worm thing that I don't want to talk about because it gave me nightmares. Yeah. But his name was Dr. Yoshimoto. He wasn't evil. I kind of feel like I'm sounding evil. I'm not trying to. But he was just very much like, oh, Chichan, you're looking very well in the exoskeleton that I made for you. And it was just so strange. And that was a great. So I did a lot. Like I did things in like no one's heard of like a lot of the stuff I've done. That's okay. But it's I was there for a while, and a lot of it just didn't get a lot of exposure. So anyway, random. What else you got? Give me something. Ask me. Oh dear, are we gonna build another snowman? No. Okay, what's up?
If you could voice any character that you've not voiced before, which one would you voice and why? Or want to voice and why?
God, that's a good question. I'm gonna have to think about that. Because it's I love voice work, so it's more than just anime that and I know there's been things where I've watched and I've been like, oh, I would love to, get my chords into there.
Am I hearing Ghostbusters out there?
I kind of think about that. Is that Ghostbusters?
Yes, it is.
Is someone cosplaying?
Yeah, I'll bet it is.
That's awesome. Let me think about that. I mean, there's a series that hasn't been dubbed yet that kill. It's called, I've seen the whole thing, all 26 episodes. I love this show. Because I like anime too. I mean, I don't, I haven't seen as much maybe as some of you guys, but I watched all of Attack on Titan before I even knew who had the dub. I had no idea who had the dub. And I watched it along with everyone else watching it as Crunchyroll was getting it, and I was like, oh, this series is great, I wonder who has it. But I love Idolmaster Xenoglossia. Have you guys ever seen or heard of that show? It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And I would love to play the chick who's kind of bitchy.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Remember her name?
Xenoglossia, you said?
Yeah.
Yes, I saw the episodes of that.
It's a great show. She's got like long brown hair, and she's just like, I mean, you love her because you have to. But yeah, she's a piece of work. But yeah, I gotta think about that more. You stumped me, Mr. Snowman. Good for you. And someone else's hand went up. Hi.
Where did you learn your voice acting from?
Where did I learn it from? Oh man, I don't know. So I went to school for theater. I'm so trying to get a drink of tea and I can't even work my thingy. 1 second, excuse me, you don't have to look at me. Okay, thanks for not looking. I have not really so proud. I have a college degree, but it's in acting. But I decided that I really wanted to do theater, and that's one of the reasons why I moved. Well, that was the reason why I moved to New York. And so when you're in the business of acting and you're going to auditions for film and commercial and stage, and you get into the industry of voice because you just do. You meet people. You're advised by agents. They're like, look, I'll send you to auditions for film and all that, but let's get your reel going. Let's get you a reel made, and let me send that reel out to all my clients. They're looking for a 20-something, young, bubbly voice for new pencils. I mean, whatever. And so then you've got your reel. You've got this reel that you've spent so much time to work on. Then you send it out because you're like, oh, my agent sends it out. Well, I'm going to send it out. And then you start looking at all the trade papers, like especially in New York, they've got this thing called the backstage where you can, people are casting tons of voice work, and you just send your reel to them. And so, it's not that I fell into it, because my first voice acting job was with ADV Films in '95, Evangelion. And then from there, I think, I just kept doing it. And by the time I went up to New York, I've been working for ADV for, I can't math, 4 years. And so I had quite a bit on there. And so then, they were like, well, she's got experience, and I had a reel that I made. And so it just went from there. Honestly, I mean, it's like the lamest answer ever, but it's really just experience. And I'm constantly learning. Like, I've actually been playing a lot lately with something I'm random, you guys, but I swear to God, this is really what goes through my mind. I had an amazing choir director in high school who taught us how to, I also have the memory of a goldfish. What is she so excited about? She should be in here. I am putting you guys to sleep. I'm so sorry. I'm boring you? Raise your hand if you're bored. A little bit bored. Did I lose anybody when I went to pee?
No.
You're kidding me. You guys all stayed?
I came back.
You came back?
Actually, if I may, as a voice actor, most of us learn by doing it.
Experience, right?
I went into a studio, I had never done it before, and I was doing things in 1 and 2 takes. In other words, I worked really fast on my first session, and I was terrified they were never going to call me again because I wasn't getting it right away. And they said, my God, you just did 105 cues in 5 hours. That's amazing work in animation. It was my very first time.
Which studio was that, Peter?
That was at Paul.
I want to call you Peter St. Paul.
That's why I don't give my last name.
Paul St. Peter?
That's right, yeah.
I hate myself.
Well, that's okay. Everybody. It's
Peter
my whole life.
Your name is not Peter St. Paul.
No, it's Paul St. Peter.
It's Paul St. Peter. I'm not the only person that's done that.
Oh, no, that's a lifetime of
You
experience.
guys, help me remember his name is Paul. Help me.
It's alphabetical.
You guys, what's his name?
Paul St. Peter.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry, Paul.
Sounds like
I've called you
church.
Peter 1,000 times.
Yeah, this was at Inner Sound in San Diego.
Inner Sound
I'm
is-
sorry, in LA, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And-
Are you stationed? That's where you are in LA? You're in LA?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, my first series was Robotech, that was in '85.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I went in and I thought, God, they're going to recast this role, they're going to kick me out. And meanwhile, they're going to tell me about, oh, the new guy did a great job. You know, you just don't know the perspective.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, but it really is, you learn it by doing it. There's no such thing as an animation dubbing school that you can go to in Omaha, Nebraska. You know.
Right. Right. And I'll say this too, and I don't mean this to be, I actually don't mean this to sound negative. It's going to sound negative, but I don't mean it to sound negative. Let me just preface the heck out of that. Some people can't do it, and that's okay, right? Like, and where I was going with what I was saying, like a choir teacher, I really think being a musician, play piano and I sing, and I've got really good rhythm, I think that helps me too. Now, I'm not saying just because someone doesn't sing and doesn't play an instrument that they're not a good VA or whatever, but I'm just saying that I was able to apply those kinds of things to my work, and that it's so hard to explain, but when I'm watching the flaps, and I listen to the Japanese, and then I go, I somehow have remembered where the words go with I can't explain it, but I know what words supposed to be saying based on the shape of the mouth. And it's done in a microsecond, millisecond, I can't math, but it's done that quickly. And that is how you those one takes, are so immediate, because your brain, you watch it, your brain has processed it, and then you go. I don't hit it every time. Hi. Hi. How are you?
How are you?
I'm just battling.
Nervous and exhausted.
I look nervous and exhausted?
I do. You're fine.
I don't have my glasses on, but you look lovely. You're welcome. If I had my glasses on, you would
If I
still
was a
look
lighter tone, you seem blushing.